And good evening to you. Happy Sunday. Thank you for tuning in and for checking in with Atlanta News First. We're streaming live right now at Atlanta News First Plus, ANF Plus, streaming on YouTube, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, AtlantaNewsFirst.com, and in both the Atlanta News First app and in the First Alert Weather app. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin. Again, a good evening to you. We do have some weather to talk about, fairly calm. You know, from a weather interest perspective, a little bit boring in the First Alert forecast, at least here for the next few days. A couple things, though. As we go through the work week, you're going to notice morning's trend just ever so slightly cooler than what we woke up to this morning. Afternoons, fairly temperate on the warmer side of average, but nothing too crazy warm. The real kind of elephant in the room, so to speak, the thing you'll notice in that extended forecast, which we'll break down for you here in just a moment, a stronger cool front. Cold front by definition, no such thing as a cool front, but it's not going to get cold behind it, but so much cooler air filtering into North Georgia, Metro Atlanta as we get into late in the coming work week, the coming weekend, especially, and then on into early next week. So a reminder, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, we are streaming right now at Atlanta News First on YouTube. Just find that account, ANF Plus. That's the account to like and to follow. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, give me a holler there. Can't see it, but monitoring the feed just out of the shot here. And I'll be looking forward to any questions coming in, especially about that front later in the work week. Let's get to the forecast right now. Pretty nice outside. Little warm by some standards today. Temperatures peaking in the low to mid-80s. We're already back in the upper 70s, though, in the city of Atlanta. Blairsville, 69. That's your 8 p.m. top of the 8 o'clock hour temperature. 75 Rome, 69 in Carrollton, 72 Covington, 69 in Athens. So if you're away from the city, you are cooling at a quicker rate compared to downtown, midtown Atlanta, and of course the official 77 coming from Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. So we are cooling down, though with it being in the low to mid-80s this afternoon, with all that pavement in the city of Atlanta, just a little bit slower to cool compared to outlying areas. But we will get down there. Temperatures back in the mid-60s tomorrow morning out the door. That's in the city with all of the pavement that we just discussed. But if you get, up to Dunwoody, if you get up to Milton, Alpharetta, Smyrna, even Vinings, maybe the southeastern part of the inside the perimeter communities, down towards Panthersville, just outside of the perimeter and South DeKalb, those spots, maybe Avondale, Decatur as well, a little bit cooler. Temperatures could be in the lower 60s out the door tomorrow morning. It'll be coolest before 8 a.m., and we'll be sitting there around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we'll start to warm up. Good question coming in from Wayne Irwin on YouTube. Atlanta News First, you can to like and follow. Wayne asking, how many more times will I have to mow my grass? Well, grass, depending on what type you have. Up here, a lot of Bermuda probably won't go dormant until your first solid freeze, or at least the first frost or two. May take a couple frosts. One good freeze, though, will do it. And I think it's going to be a while before we do that. Probably not really going dormant until we get into maybe November-ish, depending on where you are in North Georgia, south of the city, in town, a little bit longer than that, but you could have a good frost or two by late October, early November up in the mountains. But it's been dry, though, too, so it shouldn't be growing all that much unless you have a sprinkler or water system. It's been kind of a decent stretch here now, up to about 15, 16 days without measurable rain at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, and no sign of widespread rain in that extended forecast. A slight chance of a shower there, Wayne, Friday, but at least the drier weather is slowing the rate at which you're having to mow, but I don't think we're going to have any good dormant ascending temperatures until we get to maybe, November or so on average. Again, temperatures out the door tomorrow morning, nowhere near frost and freeze territory. We're waking up to 60s, most inside the perimeter neighborhoods. Be warming up, though. Temperatures by 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, back towards 70 by 9 a.m. I'll give you the green light. Lots of sunshine tomorrow morning, though heads up. If you take the east-west oriented roadways across the region, think I-20, for example, this time of year, that sun glare can be pretty big. So if you're driving into work, sun rising in the east, sun setting in the west, you know the drill this time of year. Extra bright sunshade sunglasses, a good idea for the morning commute tomorrow. But weather will be nice. We'll start with our metro low temperatures. These occurring before 8 a.m. Here's that difference in temperature. Notice inside the city, a little warmer, low to mid-60s. You get down to McDonough, you get down to Palmetto, west side Douglasville, upper 50s, Lawrenceville 59, Redan, south and southeast DeKalb in the upper 50s. 60 Roswell, Milton, Alpharetta areas, 61 Kennesaw, 60 in Smyrna, about the same in Marietta. Mid-50s, though, up in Blairsville, so a little cooler up in the higher elevations, mountain communities across North Georgia. 56 Carrollton, 58 LaGrange, upper 50s Griffin, Covington, and Athens. So, we were in the low to mid-80s this afternoon in many spots, some right around 80, even up in the mountains. But the air is relatively dry, and we have mostly clear skies, so that setup allows temperatures to warm pretty quickly during the day and then fall pretty quickly during the evenings and the overnight. So we're just in that classic early fall setup where we have relatively warm afternoons, but we still begin the day pretty comfortable, kind of on the cool side of comfortable there across the area tomorrow morning. Warmest, mildest inside the perimeter. Hour-by-hour forecast. Here we are at 9 a.m. This is what a forecast model thinks radar will look like through the day across North Georgia. Those clouds there, that's forecast cloud cover. And notice we don't have much of it. Through noon, the lunch hour, early afternoon, any plans that you may have, no weather worries. Mid to upper 70s by 2 p.m. Blue Ridge, Fannin County, White County, Lumpkin County, the Dahlonega area, and points north and northeast from there up towards Clay County, North Carolina. Higher elevations a little bit cooler. Mid to upper 70s early afternoon, and nose up towards 80 in those spots. I think solidly in the 80s. City of Atlanta, Lawrenceville, Dallas, Covington, Griffin, everyone upper 70s, lower 80s by early afternoon. Mid-afternoon, even more thermometers at 80. Even Blue Ridge could get up to 80 by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So high temperatures across the board. I would say low to mid-80s will be the average. 81 to 85, pretty commonplace across the area tomorrow. Warmest between 3 and 5 p.m. Sharita McKethan, hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Apologize if I did not. Hello to you. Good evening. Sharita and Wayne, thanks for commenting earlier. Wayne asking, in case you missed it, Wayne Irwin asking, how many more times will I have to mow the grass? Well, thankfully, it's not raining all that much, so grass may not be dormant, but you're probably not having to mow as much, especially Bermuda. But as we get into November, we need a good couple frosts or one good freeze to really allow things to go dormant, and I think we are still a while away from that. So you're going to have to mow, I would guess, at least 3, 4, 5 times maybe before we really get into those chillier mornings and the frosty conditions and conditions that'll really slow that grass growth here as we get deeper into fall. Here's the news everyone's been looking for. Let's talk about high temperatures over the next several days. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Good to hear, Sharita. Thank you for commenting. Let me know if you're watching from Atlanta, if you're watching from North Georgia, or if you're watching from beyond Sharita. Give me a holler. Again, talking with folks on YouTube, Atlanta News First, the account to like and follow if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns. Like and follow, ensure that you'll be alerted to our next live stream. We do them in the morning and the evening, breaking news headlines as well, and, of course, the First Alert forecast. And even if you don't want to like or follow the account, you can still contribute to the conversation. Maybe you're watching in the First Alert weather app, the Atlanta News First app. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, you can still navigate over to YouTube. And Sharita's watching from Lithonia. So in South DeKalb, if you are watching from that area, maybe Panthersville, it'll be a comfortable morning tomorrow morning. I think a little closer to 60 for you. Also, Wayne is watching from Fairplay, so a little cooler in your area, maybe upper 50s, lower 60s. So you see that 65 on the 7-day forecast. That's pretty accurate for the city of Atlanta. That's why we show the neighborhoods and communities outside of the perimeter, because temperature, in North Georgia can really vary depending on exactly where you are. So for Sharita and Wayne, both a little bit cooler than that official city of Atlanta low temperature tomorrow. It's going to be a gorgeous one out there. And again, thank you for tuning in. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here, streaming live on a variety of platforms for Atlanta News First. This is ANF Plus. We're coming to you live right now in the Atlanta News First app, and the First Alert Weather app, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, YouTube, many places right now. But YouTube is kind of the place we're chatting on. And sometimes, just so you are aware, Wayne and Sharita and anyone else watching, during really active weather or severe weather, we'll also go live on Facebook and answer your questions. But we do this all the time, every weekend evening, 8 p.m. Also, Tori Cooper live earlier today at 4:30 p.m. with the latest news headlines, just to make sure that even outside of news time, especially when football messes with the schedule, you still have the latest news headlines, and maybe you can get a better understanding of the forecast, and we can answer any other questions that you may have that maybe we couldn't answer if you were watching us on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate, or Atlanta News First on WANF. But back to that forecast, temperatures slowly trending back into the lower 80s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Notice that jump downward, though, as we get into Saturday, Sunday. So Friday is quote-unquote cool front day, and then cooler air will filter in as we get into Saturday and Sunday. High temperatures, that's for the city of Atlanta, low to mid-70s. So higher elevations are typically cooler spots, could stay in the upper 60s for the high temperatures Saturday, Sunday. Really talking about those mountain communities. I wish we could bring some rain. Wayne probably doesn't want any for the grass mowing purposes. But not looking like a big rainmaker. This front will move through and just not have that much moisture to work with. A lot of the forcing, the rising air we need for those clouds to grow tall enough to produce rain, that'll be away from North Georgia. So it's not looking like a big rainmaker. Queen Chief of Three Kings, Avatar on YouTube. Hello to you. Thanks for watching. Saying it's a great night. It absolutely is. Give me a holler. Let me know where you are watching from, whether it's in the city of Atlanta or beyond, or no matter where you're watching from. Chatting with folks in the UK earlier on yesterday evening's live stream. But again, a lot of folks in North Georgia around the metro commenting this evening. So give me a holler if you are watching from the greater North Georgia area. Here is that 7-day forecast. 81 Friday afternoon. I think you'll notice more cloud cover, maybe as early as Wednesday, but especially by Thursday. And then Friday is the day in which the front will move through. But exact timing still a little uncertain. It may hold off until Friday evening or Saturday very early in the morning. So that Saturday morning temperature a little bit uncertain. Just know that if it arrives earlier Friday, it'll be cooler Saturday morning. If it arrives Saturday morning, it won't be as cool, but it won't warm up as much through the day. So regardless, I would say at the latest, you're really going to feel that cooler condition as we get into Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, Saturday night, Sunday morning. That is the forecast for the city of Atlanta. And a reminder, you can always grab a check of the forecast at atlantanewsfirst.com and in the First Alert weather app. Both of those places offer a 10-day forecast, taking you out even further into the future, giving you that first alert when the weather turns active, and just letting you know what is next on the docket, what we're watching for North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. And if you do have the First Alert weather app, it's a free and easy download. It's a really good tool to have, and you'll notice next week's forecast temperatures probably staying in the mid-70s the next Monday, possibly mid-to-upper 70s next Tuesday afternoon. So nothing too crazy warm in that extended forecast. Warm mist front end of the 7-day, Monday and Tuesday. And then we'll be down into the lower 80s Wednesday, Thursday. Friday is our next kind of change day, or a day that marks a transition to something different. So a 20% chance of rain, not a big impact, but you'll notice a bigger taste of fall in the forecast as we get into next Saturday and Sunday. And hoping that we'll continue to step down into a more fall-like pattern here. But we know this far south, it often takes a little bit of time to really get our first wave of truly chilly air, and we're probably still a while yet from that, but I think a solid taste of some fall conditions as we get into the coming weekend. A reminder, if you want to follow me on Facebook, my name is Cutter Martin, Cuttermartin. You can also follow me on Twitter or X. You can follow me on Threads, also on Instagram. We're talking weather all platforms, even outside of news time, and of course not just me, the entire First Alert weather team. Ella Dorsey, Courtney Jacobazi, Rodney Harris, Patrick Pete, Fred Campagna, and First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez. Reach out to us on social media, even outside of news time, and we're always here to talk weather, give you the forecast for Metro Atlanta and beyond. Have yourself a wonderful evening, a great work week. Reminder, we're on here in just a little bit. Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV. That is Atlanta CW affiliate at 9 p.m., actually 10 p.m. rather, so we're an hour and 40 minutes or so out, and then we're back on WANF at 11 p.m. If you can't stay up, full forecast is always in the First Alert weather app. Have a good evening.